The gallery buzzed with quiet conversation as patrons moved from one painting to the next, their eyes filled with admiration and curiosity. It was the biggest night of Lauren's career, her solo exhibition, showcasing years of work that had catapulted her to the heights of the art world. Her paintings, known for their haunting beauty and intricate detail, had drawn acclaim from critics and collectors alike. But as Lauren stood in the corner, champagne glass in hand, she felt none of the pride or excitement she should have. Instead, she felt hollow. Each compliment, each word of praise, twisted something inside her, a reminder of the secret she had carried for years. The work hanging on these walls wasn't hers, not really. It had never been. Every stroke of the brush, every brilliant concept, belonged to someone else. To Natalie. Lauren's best friend, Natalie, had always been the true artist between them. They had met in college, bonding over their shared love of art and the dreams they had for their futures. But while Lauren had always struggled to find her voice, Natalie had a gift. Her work was raw, full of emotion and originality, the kind of art that left you breathless. It had been clear from the start that Natalie was destined for greatness. Lauren, on the other hand, had been stuck in her own mediocrity, unable to break through. That's why, when Natalie began to lose interest in pursuing a professional art career, Lauren had seen it as an opportunity. Natalie had been brilliant but aimless, creating masterpiece after masterpiece, but never caring much for the art world's politics or ambition. She had painted because she loved it, and when she felt like moving on to something else, she had packed up her brushes and left the art scene behind without a second thought. Lauren, desperate to succeed, had made a terrible choice. She had taken Natalie's unfinished works, the sketches and canvases left behind in her apartment, and passed them off as her own. It had started small, just a few pieces at an amateur showcase, but the response had been overwhelming. People were captivated by the work, and for the first time in her life, Lauren felt seen, recognized. She couldn't stop. She refined the pieces, added her own touches, and built an entire career on the foundation of Natalie's talent. But now, standing in the gallery, surrounded by people praising her genius, the weight of the lie was suffocating. The guilt had grown unbearable, and the more successful she became, the more hollow it all felt. She had stolen from her best friend, Natalie, who had trusted her, who had shared her art with her without a second thought. Natalie, who had moved on from the art world, completely unaware that her work had become the cornerstone of someone else's career. Lauren couldn't keep living with the lie. She couldn't keep taking credit for something that had never been hers. The decision to confess had been brewing inside her for months, but now, on the night of her biggest success, the moment had arrived. She knew that revealing the truth could destroy everything she had built. The fame, the money, the recognition. It would all disappear once people learned that the art they adored wasn't hers. But the cost of keeping the secret was too great. She had already lost herself. She couldn't lose Natalie, too. As the gallery owner approached, beaming with pride, Lauren forced a smile. "It's incredible, isn't it?" he said. "Everyone is talking about your work. This exhibition will change your life." Lauren swallowed hard, her heart racing. "I need to tell you something," she said quietly, her voice shaking. "Something about the work." The gallery owner frowned slightly. "What is it?" Lauren glanced around the room, the walls lined with the art she had stolen, the weight of her decision pressing down on her. "It's not mine," she whispered. "None of it. The paintings, they belong to someone else. I've been passing them off as my own, but they were created by a friend. An artist named Natalie." The gallery owner's face paled, disbelief flashing across his features. "What are you talking about? You can't be serious." "I am," Lauren said, tears welling in her eyes. "I stole her work. I thought it would just be temporary, that I could make something of myself and then tell her. But I never did. And now it's gone too far." The gallery owner stared at her, speechless. Around them, the gallery was filled with people admiring the art, unaware of the bombshell that had just been dropped. Lauren's heart pounded in her chest, the enormity of what she had just done settling over her like a storm. Do you realize what this means? The gallery owner finally said, his voice shaking. You'll lose everything. Your career will be ruined. I know, Lauren whispered, her voice trembling. But I can't live with the lie anymore. As the reality of her confession sank in, Lauren felt a strange sense of relief, even as the fear of what was to come gnawed at her. She had told the truth, finally. There was no going back now. The gallery owner, still in shock, walked away, likely to make calls that would send shockwaves through the art world. Lauren watched him go, her chest tight, but for the first time in years, she felt like she could breathe. That night, Lauren sat in her apartment, staring at her phone. She hadn't spoken to Natalie in years, their friendship having drifted as Lauren's career had taken off. But now, as she scrolled through her contacts, she found Natalie's name, her thumb hovering over the call button. She had already lost her career. Now, she had to face the person she had betrayed most. Taking a deep breath, Lauren pressed the call button. The phone rang once, twice, then. Hellos. Natalie's voice was warm, familiar, and hearing it made Lauren's chest ache with guilt. Natalie, she said, her voice shaking. It's me, Lauren. There was a pause, then Natalie spoke again, sounding surprised. Lauren? Wow, it's been so long. How are you? Lauren swallowed, her throat tight. I need to tell you something. It's about your art. The pieces you left behind. I've been using them. I've been passing them off as mine. I've built my career on your work, and I'm so sorry. I don't know how to make it right, but I needed to tell you the truth. The silence on the other end of the line felt endless. Lauren's heart pounded in her chest as she waited for Natalie's response, terrified of what she might say. Finally, Natalie spoke, her voice soft and measured. I had a feeling, she said quietly. I saw some of your exhibitions online. The style that looked familiar. Lauren's breath caught in her throat. I'm so sorry, Natalie. I never meant for it to go this far. I've ruined everything. There was another long pause, and then Natalie sighed. I don't know what to say, Lauren. You stole from me. You took something that was mine, and you built a life on it. That's not something I can just forgive easily. I understand, Lauren whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. I'm willing to give up everything. I don't care about the fame or the money. I just want to make it right. Natalie was quiet for a moment, and then she spoke, her voice tinged with sadness. You can't undo what's been done, Lauren. But maybe one day we can find a way to move forward. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I appreciate that you finally told me the truth. The conversation ended with no promises of reconciliation, no assurance that things would ever be okay between them. But Lauren felt lighter, even in the midst of her shame and regret. The truth was out, and now she would face the consequences. In the days that followed, the news of Lauren's confession spread like wildfire. Her career unraveled, her name tarnished in the art world. But for Lauren, the loss of her success felt like the price she had been destined to pay. She had stolen someone's genius and passed it off as her own, and now she was left to rebuild, piece by piece. She didn't know if Natalie would ever forgive her, if they could ever rebuild their friendship. But Lauren knew that the path to redemption wasn't about regaining what she had lost. It was about confronting the person she had become and trying to find her way back to the person she wanted to be. The art, the fame, the fortune, it had all been a lie. But the truth, painful as it was, had finally set her free. And now, for the first time in years, Lauren could begin the process of creating something real. Something that was truly hers.